Joanna Rees.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want me to look there, but I'm looking
No,
at
don't sweat the camera. Don't sweat the camera.
I moved to San Francisco 18 years ago. I came here because I viewed the city as diverse, inclusive, and I thought of it as the innovation capital of the world, and not just in technology, but in food, wine, social justice, and so many different things. I, as an entrepreneur 16 years ago, founded a venture capital firm with no venture capital experience. I had a new approach to the industry. Everyone said, it's not possible, you can't get it done. I met with 400 investors over 3 years, so I got really good at hearing no, which I took as not yet. And that's where I really believe in myself. I adopted just kind of the theory that persistence beats resistance. I've ultimately was able to raise a series of funds. I've supported 60 companies in the Bay Area. I've created thousands of jobs by partnering with entrepreneurs and helping them take an idea and turn it into something of value. For more than a decade, I've now worked on public education reform, trying to take that same model of backing entrepreneurs with innovation and bringing that innovation into our public schools to support teachers and improve student outcomes, whether that's in remote professional development for teachers through earbuds or a lot of adaptive learning technologies that help kids learn with more individualized curriculum. I was very fortunate to have a great mentor for me, Ann Richards, who was the first elected female governor of Texas, who was my assigned mentor in a leadership program, and she's the one who instilled in me I had an obligation to go into public service. She always said, when you serve, not if you serve. But she said to me, make sure you achieve what you want to achieve professionally before you serve. So it really is about service and give back to your community and not about getting the job or building your resume. And I will tell you, just even in the campaigning process, which is long days, and it's an intense schedule, it feels inspiring to me and very purpose-driven. This is an opportunity to give back, and it doesn't have that stress of, I got to get the job. It's about an opportunity to serve people in San Francisco, and I say serve with a big underline because I think we've gotten away from that. Before I decided to run, I spent 2 years going neighborhood by neighborhood and just listening to people about what they loved about the city, what they were concerned about, and what they wanted in the next phase of leadership. And that's when I heard loud and clear we need a new approach to some of our long-term systemic challenges. I always say, though, my moment of obligation when I knew I had to run was when I became convinced the only way we're going to significantly impact public education is if the mayor makes it a high-level priority, because it's going to take a community-wide effort to support our public schools. And the mayor sits in a unique position, and the mayor has a platform to really highlight public education. And I'll say one of the things that I think has been great about being in this race, because I always said I was an important voice in the dialogue, was now every candidate is talking about public education, and it had not been part of the mayoral dialogue. We also have to grow our way out of the cycle of budget deficits, and the way that we're going to do that is to keep jobs in the city. And we do a really good job here with entrepreneurs who start here, but they end up leaving as they scale, and there's lots of opportunities that I have in terms of especially taking the burdens off our small businesses. I have done 34 merchant walks, worked 34 merchant corridors. When you see even people's signs up in different windows, the signs that are up in the windows with my name on it, it's because I've personally been in that store. And I've talked to the merchant about the excessive licenses and permits, and I even made a joke last night about needing a municipal bank just to have enough fees to pay the city back for the big burden we put on our small businesses, and I think we have to really look at that in a comprehensive way. And then the last thing, I think we're really fortunate in San Francisco because we have such an engaged community, and people really are willing to pay their fair share, but we have to be much more open about where money goes. And the fact that I have requested line item budgets from every single city department, even via sunshine request, and to this date have not received that kind of detail. First of all, as a citizen, I'm outraged. That should not be the case. We should be able to put that information out, and I want to know how many people work in that department, what are they getting paid, and just where's the money going. And the fact that in the main controller's budget there are lines that say miscellaneous revenue with $160 million, or other expenses $54 million, or other expenses $22 million. I mean, you can look at the budget. What are in those numbers in those buckets? And I think we're owed so much more in terms of just openness and clarity around that, so people can have a say in where we're investing in terms of where our priorities are, and then hold our leaders accountable. And today you can't do that. I also just think there's lots of opportunity on the budgeting side I can go into more detail on. Just in terms of my campaign, since I came from the outside and no one knew me, in January people were like, Joanna who? We've been on the ground, intensive grassroots. We've knocked on over 200,000 doors. I think it's like 220,000 probably now. We've walked 34 merchant corridors. I work bus lines, 3 mornings a week, riding Muni in every single district. By the way, I feel like I could do the Muni routing now, like literally rewrite all the Muni maps because and bus routing, because there is an incredible injustice that is in the city between really people with money and influence and the rest of the community. And Muni is a glaring example of that. But we are engaging with voters one-on-one, and it's having an impact, I will absolutely tell you, just in terms of my own recognition, as well as people really saying, wow, it's great you're out here. And this morning on the corner of Hayes and Divisadero, a man came up to me who was roller skating, which I was impressed at 7 a.m. And he said, I met you in a neighborhood forum, because we also do now twice a week neighborhood talks in every single neighborhood. And he said, I'm really impressed. He said, you are definitely the hardest working candidate. I see you out everywhere, and you're really listening to the people. And this is back to I'm listening because we have to get back to serve. So that's me.
Most people